The celestial gate station orbited the neutral zone between 7 star systems, a glittering hub where 1,000 species mingled under flickering neon and artificial gravity. In the lower decks, where the air tasted of recycled oxygen and desperation, the Azure Comet diner served synthetic meals to travelers who couldn't afford better. Nora Hale moved between tables with practiced efficiency, her worn shoes silent against the metal floor. She was human, a rarity this far from Earth, and she wore that vulnerability like a second skin. Her uniform was patched at the elbows, her smile professional but distant. She'd learned long ago that warmth invited questions, and questions led to problems. Another round. She asked a table of Vex traders, their crystalline faces reflecting the diner's harsh lights. They waved her off dismissively. Nora cleared their plates, noting the half-eaten protein cubes left behind. Her fingers twitched, but she forced herself to scrape them into the recycler. Not yet, not where cameras could see. Across the diner, 2 figures watched her with unusual intensity. Prince Kyle of the Leonar Empire sat hunched in a corner booth, his holographic disguise shimmering faintly around his true form. To casual observers, he appeared as a young humanoid traveler in a gray cloak. Beneath the illusion, golden fur covered powerful muscles and emerald eyes tracked Nora's every movement with predatory focus. "She's doing it again," his companion Rin whispered. Rin was younger, his disguise less stable, occasionally flickering to reveal tufted ears and a twitching tail. "Patience," Kale murmured, though his own curiosity burned. "We observe first." They'd been on the station for 3 cycles, hiding from assassins sent by Kale's uncle. The Leonar were apex predators, warriors whose empire stretched across 4 systems. Their people didn't hide. They didn't cower. But Kale's father, the Emperor, had been poisoned. And until Kale could return home safely, he had to remain dead to the universe, which meant living among lesser species and learning their ways. And what strange ways they were. Nora disappeared into the kitchen, and Kale's enhanced hearing caught the soft clink of something being transferred. When she emerged minutes later, her bag, previously flat, now bulged slightly at the bottom. "She's stealing," Rin hissed, his young warrior's sense of justice flaring. "Or surviving," Kale countered. "There's a difference." The shift ended and Nora grabbed her coat. Kale rose smoothly, dropping credits on the table. More than necessary, but human economics still confused him. He and Rin followed her into the station's maze of corridors, staying far enough back to avoid detection. The lower decks grew darker, colder. Here the station's glamour fell away, revealing the poverty that undergirded its prosperity. Nora moved quickly, her shoulders hunched against the chill. She stopped at a rusted door marked with faded numbers and knocked 3 times. The door cracked open and 2 small faces appeared. Human children, no more than 8 or 9 standard years. Their eyes lit up at the sight of Nora. "Nora," the boy cried, flinging the door wide. "Shh, Tommy, not so loud." But Nora's exhausted face transformed with a smile that made Kale's chest tighten strangely. She stepped inside and Kyle caught a glimpse of the tiny compartment beyond. 3 sleeping mats, a broken heater and nothing else. The door closed, and Kale stood in the corridor, processing what he'd witnessed. "She's feeding them," Rin breathed, understanding dawning. "The stolen food, it's for the cubs, not cubs. Human children." But the principle was the same. Kale thought of his own younger siblings back home, protected by wealth and power. These small humans had only Nora, and Nora had only stolen bread. "My prince," Rin said carefully, "we cannot get involved." Our mission is to survive and return home," Kale interrupted. "But we are still Leonar. We do not ignore those who protect their young." He approached the door and knocked. Silence, then cautious footsteps. Nora opened it a crack, her eyes widening at the sight of the 2 travelers from the diner. "I don't want trouble," she said quickly, hand moving to something in her pocket. A stunner, probably. "Brave little human. I'll return the food. Please don't report me." "We're not here to report you," Kyle said gently. His translator chip made his words smooth, though his accent carried the growling undertones of his true voice. "May we speak inside? What I have to say, it's better said in private." Nora hesitated, then her eyes flicked to the children behind her. Whatever calculus she ran, it ended with her stepping back to let them enter. The compartment was even smaller than it had appeared. The 2 children, Tommy and a girl who Nora introduced as Sarah, pressed close to their sister. Kale noted the skeletal thinness of their arms, the hollow quality of their cheeks. "How long have you been feeding them on stolen scraps?" he asked. Nora's jaw tightened. 6 months. Since our transport ship abandoned us here. They took our credits as passage payment and left us stranded. Her voice cracked. "I work 16-hour shifts, but it's not enough. The station's taxes, the fees, the bribes, there's nothing left. So yes, I steal their garbage. I'm not ashamed. She should have been impressive before. But now, standing between predators and her young, ready to fight despite impossible odds, she was magnificent." Kale reached up and touched the device at his temple. The hologram flickered and died. Golden fur rippled into view, powerful muscles, the unmistakable regal bearing of Lanner royalty. Sarah gasped. Tommy stepped back, but Nora stood her ground, chin raised. "We are Leonor," Kale said. "Prince Kale of the First Pride, and this is Rin of the Warrior Caste." He watched Nora's face carefully. "We've been watching you because we needed to understand human resilience. My people. We conquer. We dominate, but you endure. What do you want?" Nora whispered. "To help." Kale pulled a credit chip from his cloak and placed it on the makeshift table. "This will pay for proper quarters, food for a year, and passage to any human colony you choose." Nora stared at the chip as if it might bite her. "Why?" "Because among my people the protection of cubs, of children, is sacred. You risk everything for them. That deserves honor, not punishment." Kale's tail swished once. "And because humans interest me. You're weak individually, fragile, short-lived, yet you've spread across the stars through pure stubborn will. That's worth respecting," Rin added quietly. "You're not alone anymore." Tears tracked down Nora's face and she sank into a crouch, pulling her siblings close. For a long moment the only sound was her breathing, ragged, relieved, disbelieving. "Thank you," she finally whispered. "Thank you." Kyle nodded once, regal even in this cramped space. "Come to the Azure Comet tomorrow. We'll arrange everything properly." He paused at the door. "And Nora, you don't need to steal anymore. But your courage, keep that. The universe needs more of it." As they walked back through the corridors, Rin said thoughtfully, "The humans have a saying, don't they? About judging a civilization by how it treats its weakest?" "They do," Kale agreed. "And by that measure, this one human, protecting her cubs with nothing but stolen bread, is worth more than entire empires." Behind them, in a tiny compartment, 3 humans held each other and dared, for the first time in months, to hope. And in the shadows of the Celestial Gate Station, 2 lion cubs in disguise learned that strength came in many forms, and sometimes the fiercest warriors wore waitress uniforms and carried bread in battered bags.